Porn for the heart.
Get back!
Yeah. All right. Welcome. Thank you. New intro there. Shout out to Godsmack for the music, and to Lindsay Wilson. Thank you for bringing us into another episode of Porn for the Heart. Welcome, everyone. We are brought to you by Men Becoming Men. You can always visit us on the Facebook page or the web page of the same name. Give us comments, suggestions. Let us know what you think. I want to get personal here with you guys a little bit. I want to share something that has been a huge influence in my life, and I hope that by sharing this, perhaps it might be a benefit to some of you in your life as well. It's so simple and basic that I almost feel silly sharing it as if I'm revealing something profound that isn't. But I think sometimes it's like that store down the street, you know, the one that you pass literally every single day on your way to work, all the time. And it's not until someone else points it out to you that you're like, oh, I didn't even realize that was there. And it was there all along, but you just never really saw it until someone pointed it out to you. So hopefully it could be something like that. I was privileged to be a watcher of TV when TiVo came out. Now, TiVo was the brand. I'm not sure that's around anymore. It gave way to what we all refer to as the DVR now, or I assume we all still call it that. Anyway, like many of us now, I can hardly watch live TV. And most definitely I can't watch it without at least having it hooked up to a DVR. Now why? Because not only do I love it, but I need the buttons to control the TV, the ability to control the program. And for me, mainly the pause button. I don't want to miss anything. And sometimes, there's lots of activity going on in the house that needs to be attended. Maybe dinner's being served, a phone call happens, or maybe just the call of nature, That pause button ends up being a huge benefit. So we have all these devices in our life. And even with all that they do, they still come with this key feature that at this point we all require and almost must have. And why would these devices that want you to use them and use them more and more come with something that actually interrupts or outright stops your using of? On the outside, it would seem to be counterintuitive to what they really want you to do, right? Which is use them. They do this though obviously for that very reason. They know that by giving you something that actually helps you, that actually allows you time to breathe or think or do whatever you need to do and then return to it like nothing ever happened and allow you to not miss anything, then you would actually come to rely on that device even more and your use of it would actually increase, despite you having very brief and temporary moments where you stop the use of it altogether. All of this because you have and are able to use the simplest and silliest button of them all, the pause button. Now, look, I'm not trying to cause, button envy here. I realize and agree that play, stop, and record, look, they're all super cool. And they all have their place, on the remote. I believe, at least for me, that the pause button has had a tremendous impact in my life. More specifically, the pause has had an amazing aspect in my life. And look, I realize that rewind and maybe even fast forward, could come in super beneficial in our life if we had access to some button like that. But, we aren't playing pretend here. We are dealing in reality, and I needed something that could seriously benefit me in my life. And the pause was and is exactly that. Here are some scenarios to consider and see if you can relate. Have you ever said or done anything that immediately after doing so, you immediately regretted it? Or even realized it wasn't even what you wanted to say really, or do? You could have paused. How about your parent or a loved one, especially your partner, your spouse, your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, especially in that heat of an argument? Have they ever asked something or said something or accused you of something and you just responded right back? You could have paused. Have you ever been at a restaurant, and you're looking over this overly complex menu. When the server arrives to take the order, everyone else has already ordered. Now they're all looking at you, so you just order. You could have paused. You ever been on a game show and the time is running out and they ask a question you need to answer? No, don't pause. Hurry, answer it. Come on. Dear Lord, it's a game show. You're going home with $0 now. You got to answer there. You can't pause. But you know what? Life isn't a game show. And yet sometimes we act like it is, playing games with our own life. I played games with my life. always out to defend myself from the attacks of the world, to prove that I had the answers. Who was I proving it to? Who was attacking me? Would never allow anyone to show me up. And what for? I certainly won no game shows. And the only one really attacking me and coming after me was me. Are the smartest people the ones who answer the fastest? Think about people in your life, or just in general, the ones you consider to be the wisest, the ones you go to for advice and help. Are they the ones that rapid fire answers off to you, that give you advice in a split second and send you on your way? If they are, then fine. I'm not satisfied then with being the wisest. I'd rather know that instead I am answering from a place that causes me internal comfort. I'm answering from a place of my truth. I am answering from a place that in the end doesn't hurt me and gives me the chance to carry on with my life exactly where I left it and exactly from the place that I want to resume it. Look, here's the crazy thing, right? If you do everything in your life looking to make sure that you find your comfort, if you do things that give you internal peace and happiness, you will find that those around you benefit from that and thus also receive that benefit of comfort. You see, if you can learn to employ the pause into your life, you will begin to have the opportunity to tap into the real you. You will begin to take that moment to reflect on your truth. Now, look, there is a key component here, and it's not a trick. It's just a vital distinction. I'm not changing anything. But it is important that what you do with your pause is critical. If you hit the pause button solely to yell at everyone in the house to shut up so you can continue to watch your movie, it was used ineffectively. You may be thinking, well, not really. I mean, they all got quiet and I got to get back to my movie. But you weren't really able, at least not in the way you hoped. Because after you yelled, you got all worked up, you started back your show, but you're still thinking about how mad you are at all of them for being so disrespectful and yelling and screaming. And you know what? They probably won't stop anyways. They start back up again and you have to do it all over again and you get even more worked up. Now, with your TV, you have that option again, that brilliant rewind button. So in essence, you miss nothing, but you don't get to do that in life. I'm sorry. Even when in life we talk about a do-over, there really are no do-overs. In real life, there is all that noise and yelling going on in our heads, and we have the choice to pause and give into it, yell back, listen to the noise, allow it to dictate our moods, our action, our lives, or our second option is to pause and wait. Wait until the noise stops. Let it pass. And the noise I'm talking about is the one in your head. Pause. Pause and get it out of your head. Feed your heart with some porn here, guys. Realize where it's at isn't in your head. What we do with the pause is where our life starts to take a change for the better. The critical component is that when you pause, you sink into your heart. In your heart is the true you, is the truth and answers that give you peace and calmness. We'll stop just real quick and just say, look, you may be thinking, yeah, okay, pause. What is just going to, the thoughts and the noise in my head is just going to automatically go away? Not initially. This does take some effort on our part. If it was that easy, then none of us would have this noise and chatter and stuff and crap and gobbledygook in our head. Meditation, time for yourself. Did a whole Porn for the Heart, a whole interview with Janet Chavez talking about meditation. I implore you to go back. If you haven't heard it, go back and listen to it. If you've already heard it, go back and listen again. Start this practice. That's how you start to get to this point where in that pause, you can start to clear your mind. Look, your mind is just filled with scenarios of fear and failures. And yes, maybe even some protection measures. But that's the ones that it learned from past events that are long gone, that are not this event happening right now in the present. No matter how much your mind tries to convince you it's a rerun of what you've already seen, it's not. This is live. It's happening now. But you still get the opportunity to pause if you choose to. Pause, take a deep breath, sink into your heart, and give your answer. You may not win any game show trivia challenge, but you have spoken your truth. You feel great about yourself and your decision. Even better, you said and did nothing stupid. I have come to learn that to cut through the sometimes chaotic mind, a brief pause, or even as long a pause as I feel I need, will allow me to bypass the chaos, go into my heart, and answer exactly what I wanted. I've done some pretty stupid things in my life, even hurt some people very close to me, lost a lot of things, friends and family, so much more. I didn't know, and thus obviously didn't use the pause in those instances. I let my mind dictate to me why I should answer this way or that, maybe through a fear of consequences if I listen to that silly heart that's telling me to say the truth. With the things I was hiding, the truth sounded horrible and certainly didn't seem like it was going to bring any comfort or happiness to my life or anyone else around me for sure. Maybe just because my mind knew that scenario and it knew the last time I said this and well, that didn't work. So I'm not saying that this time. Instead, I'm going to say this. And you know what? In the end, or at least eventually, the real truth did come out, which inevitably created a much larger issue than would have been created had I paused, gone into my heart, and spoken my truth to begin with. But I didn't know all of that then, or I certainly didn't pay attention to it. Once I learned the pause, once I learned how to go into my heart, once I started to speak my truth. Look, I've talked about how after pausing and going into your heart, you will say your truth that will bring you happiness and comfort. And while that is true, I'm not backtracking on that, but understand for many of us, depending on our age, and when we adopt the pause, we don't get to just erase the past. Our similarities with the DVR end here. What happened before I learned the pause still had to be dealt with. If my goal was internal comfort and happiness moving forward, which it was, and it is. It's not about sometimes not having to say or do something that may be uncomfortable. It's about speaking your truth now, which I am telling you, in the end will feel better for you. For some of us, there's a lot of past to rectify, a lot of hurt, internally and externally, to undo, but do it. If the truth hurts you, that is probably because whatever brought you to this point wasn't done from your heart to begin with. It's not the truth being told now that is uncomfortable. We sometimes mix this up, seeing the result as the problem and not the cause. Pause. I'm living proof that if you choose to face the past, it will be rocky and tough to get where you want to go. Look, one of the prettiest and most awesome beaches I've ever gone to is in Hawaii, and you have to park your car and then you have to walk over lava rock, this lava rock semi sort of path on foot. It's hot because lava rock is black and the sun's beating down. It's very hot. And to say it's rocky is something you can't really understand until you try to walk on lava rocks. Anyways, then you end up passing this gorgeous beach just to keep going. You're like, wait, why don't we stop here? No, you keep going. You go over more lava rocks and through this thick sand, really hard to walk through sand until you come to this relatively quiet, peaceful, and awesome beach. But you know what? You'll never reach those awesome places in your life, in life in general, these beaches, whatever it is, unless you make the trek. But it's worth it. If you're young, don't wait. Learn the pause now. And if you're more advanced in age, I promise it's so worth it. Your truth may also hurt people, but when delivered from the heart, it will come from such a different and safe place. Then even they will take it and perceive it different. And you will have created a place where you can come back from it, where the space for compassion and understanding has been created. When you speak from your ass, whether it's the truth or not, you've left no room to come back from it. Look, we've heard from people, we've heard them say it before. You know what? I always say that. We have heard people say it before. I don't know if that's even true. Maybe we haven't heard people say it. What I really mean when I say that is that I used to say this. I was the ignorant ass that used to say this. I would say, well, it's the truth. As if just because I said something that was true, I could then say any hurtful, hateful thing I wanted. And then I could just act like I didn't care if you got hurt because, I said the truth. When in reality, then I'm pissed that you're hurt because you shouldn't be allowed to be hurt because, again, I said the truth. I'll say it again. The truth doesn't come from your ass. The truth comes from your heart. And yes, it may still hurt other people. My truth, once finally spoken, hurt a lot of people. It hurt me. How they felt, I don't know. I cannot be the other person or make them do or say or feel anything. But me, coming from my place of truth and honesty, I was able to leave feeling good with what I've done, meaning I felt good about the truth and my truth being told, not that I felt good about what the truth was and the details of what it may have been. That sucked. But I knew I needed it to start feeling a life of true happiness. I started to employ the pause in my life and was able to start living a life of truth because I came from the heart Even though many of those I hurt were deeply hurt and wounded, I left open the opportunity for healing between us. I put the mind and the ego aside and resided in the heart. I am happy with the place that I have landed. Hopefully the other person is too, but in the end, that is on them. Perhaps they need to tune into Porn for the Heart or go to Men Becoming Men. And yes, I just ended with a shameless plug. But in all seriousness, we're all here to help. Porn for the Heart is about sharing so many of these experiences, not just from me, but from everybody. Men Becoming Men is about us coming together to discuss them and having some heart-provoking dialogue. It's not always just about me talking. It's about hearing how we can help each other become the men that we want to become. And Porn for the Heart is just a great place for us to speak openly about so many of these things. I just can't express enough how the employment of the pause in your life, much as it did mine, will start to give you that ability to speak clearly, to speak with that clarity of honesty and integrity, for you to go to the place within you where your truth resides. But it can only happen if you spend the time in that pause to search within you for what it is that's going to be the right thing for you to say and do. Don't rush to do everything. Rush to answer every single question. Employ the pause. Guys, once again, brought to you by Men Becoming Men, this is Porn for the Heart. Thank you guys. Look forward to next time.